what the company's growth plan is and what's the company's strategy is, and always look at, is GBS aligned with that strategy and that growth plan?
Welcome to the GBS Masterminds podcast, the one and only platform for global business service leaders to share their experiences of building world-class shared service organizations. My name is Sashi Narahari, founder and CEO of 𝗕𝗣𝗢𝗍, and I'll be your host. Today, I'm pleased to host Cheedella, a GBS leader who has worked with major companies like Molson Coors, MillerCoors, and SABMiller. Jay is currently serving as the Vice President of GBS Services at the Hershey's company. Jay, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Shashi.
All right, Jay. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your career journey.
Sure. Thank you. Born and brought up in India, I have a master's in physics and I also have an MBA in e-commerce. I came to the US about 25 plus years ago. My first job was in India as a space scientist. I worked for the Indian Space Research Program. And then when I came to the US, I joined a beverage company, basically Miller Brewing Company, became MillerCoors and then Molson Coors, number of acquisitions and mergers. Half that career, I have been there for about 20 plus years, and half of that career has been in IT, managing large programs, SAP implementations, etc. And the other half has been in business transformation, standing up a BPO, and then doing a GBS, basically the insourcing of services for Molson Coors. Very recently, I joined the Hershey company. Currently, I'm based in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So it has been a long ride, going through several different positions and growing my career through that journey. We love to travel as a family, and I have been to 5 of the 6 continents. The only one I haven't been is Antarctica.
Wow, that's good for you. And you went from physics major to space scientist to IT, SAP at beer companies, and now GBS at Hershey's. So I think you'll have a very different perspective on the 6 dead or alive questions I'm going to ask you now. You ready?
Yes.
Awesome. In 10 years, do you think BPOs for outsourcing will be dead or alive?
In the current form, I would say dead, because already we are seeing that a lot of companies are going for a mixed model, not fully outsourced, but having some outsourcing and some insourcing. I think that trend will continue. With technology also, a lot of companies are looking at not just cost efficiencies or transactional activities. They are looking at more value-add services. So I think in its current form, it will not be there in 10 years. I think it will morph quite a bit.
You bet. I almost feel like whether it is GBS or the BPOs, right, they'll end up becoming tech-enabled services.
Yep.
So I have some follow-up questions on that. But before that, let's talk about talent. A lot of things happening in the COVID era, I guess. In 10 years, do you think large centralized service centers will be dead or alive? There is so much talk about work from home, work from anywhere. What do you think will happen to the large centers?
I think it will be dead in 10 years. We are already seeing that folks are preferring to at least have hybrid work environment, and the GBS is following that path. So maybe like 10, 15 years ago, where we thought co-locating is the way to do GBS, I think those have been broken down. That paradigm has been broken down in the last couple of years. So I think large centers and centralized GBS services will not be there. It will be more about optimizing the size, but at the same time having in-person interaction, because that's where ideas will be generated and all that. That will still continue, I think. But having like hundreds of thousands of people in a center, I think that will not be there.
Got it. It's kind of interesting, Jay. So last night I read this article that Google is betting big on return to the office. In fact, they're pouring billions of dollars in literally buying up office space in every major city. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't disagree with that. But I think, like I said earlier, mixed model, I think, is what will prevail. While we encourage employees to come to work, it may not be 5 days a week. It may be 3 days a week or maybe 2 days a week. Having some people come some days, some people come some other days. I think that's how it is going to be. At least that's my prediction.
Got it. All right. So let's jump into technology. In the next 10 years, do you think RPA in the current form? And what I mean by that is, mostly it's an as-is, screen flow automation, screen capture technology. Will it be dead or alive?
I think it will be dead because I'm already seeing in the last 3-4 years, while RPA has been, initiated across many companies, we are already looking at intelligent automation. We are looking at beyond automating just some specific tasks. We are looking at more end-to-end processes or sub-processes and how we can automate them. So I think in terms of how RPA is there today, it will evolve quite a bit in the next few years.
Agreed. I think it makes sense because we just think about most of the times when you look at an as-is process, you just don't want to automate the steps, maybe like a short term. And we're also seeing the major RPA vendors already repositioning themselves as intelligent automation and so forth. So that brings us to AI. What are your thoughts on AI in GBS? I know that there is a lot of hype associated with AI. In 10 years, do you think AI will just be a hype and be dead, or there'll be improvements and it will make an impact?
I think there are use cases springing up for AI to be incorporated into GBS. I feel there is a long runway to go before we get to AI specifically in GBS, because there is natural language processing. There is, like I said, intelligent automation that need improved upon in GBS before we get to AI. But that doesn't mean AI will not be there in GBS. I think we will start seeing some use cases, but we also have to understand what's the skill level required to be able to do AI. Can GBS afford it? Are there significant savings in terms of employee productivity, etc.? I think those things will determine the AI path for GBS.
Got it. So I think then the takeaway is, especially since GBS is very cost and value focused, the potential of AI is there, but if the numbers don't speak for themselves, it might end up being the next fancy labs project and fail. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. The next question is around India as a major service center. In 10 years, given the consistent wage increases that we've already seen over the decade, now the growing inflation rate, do you think India as a top 3 or the top 5 service center will still live, or do you think it will be dead in 10 years from now?
I would say in its current form, for example, where it's low-cost operation, it will be dead because, like you said, wage increases are quite a bit and turnover is also very high. So to have consistency in terms of employees being there to do the work and to improve upon their work, that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard. So as it stands now, I think that will morph quite a bit. But India has a lot of talent in terms of either advanced capabilities like data scientists or data engineers, architects, etc. So that's where I think it will grow, where we can get more value add instead of doing the low-cost work.
Got it. So that's a good one, right? Because it seems like whether it is BPOs or GBS, itself will evolve to tech-enabled services. Then the whole cost of just a low-cost labor just to do the clicks will probably be dead. But as GBSs evolve, the role from India would probably be more tech-centric versus back-office processing. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way to put it.
Awesome. I guess now the big question I have to ask you, this is the world we all live in. In 10 years, will GBS as an organization be dead or alive? So let me kind of phrase it a bit, right? If you just think about how it all started, it started with centralizing processing, shared services in markets, then shared services evolved to GBS. So now I'm trying to think like this is already a rapid change over the last decade. I'm trying to think like 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think it will be very much alive, and I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One, instead of GBS being looked at as foundational or transaction processing, we are already seeing that GBS is making inroads into a number of different functions in an organization. So, for example, supply chain, sales and marketing. And the way we look at GBS is also changing with respect to being cost efficient to looking at how can GBS help the growth of the company. So, and I would also say GBS is very uniquely positioned in terms of having end-to-end process view, and continuous improvement is one of the DNA, is the DNA of GBS, right? With all those things put together, I think GBS will be very much alive, and I think it will become an integral part of a company's future.
Awesome. I guess then, on a closing note, what would be your advice to other GBS leaders like you?
Please make sure that you are always looking at the employee engagement, because employees are the ones that are going to help GBS grow and the company grow. So ensuring that employees are very engaged, and whatever we do to improve their mental health, their acumen in terms of upskilling their knowledge, all those things are very key. And the second thing I would say is look at what the company's growth plan is and what's the company's strategy is. And always look at, is GBS aligned with that strategy and that growth plan? I think that's how we can be beneficiaries. We can have the company as beneficiaries of GBS value.
Oh, that's great advice, Jay. Thank you so much. It was a delight to have you as a guest on the GBS Masterminds today.
Thank you very much, Hershey. Thanks for the opportunity.
That was the GBS Masterminds podcast. For more information, visit gbsmasterminds.com and make sure to search for GBS Masterminds in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And on behalf of the team here at High Radius, thanks for listening.